All right. Hey, everybody. Christine here. I'm going to give everybody a minute. 2 seconds. Okay. So I have a super important topic to talk to all of you about today. And I feel like this is really kind of the pulse of what I'm feeling right now with clients, with the community that I'm in up here in Alaska. And I'm seeing this kind of like rippling out throughout our country and kind of all over the world. And there's kind of a deeper thread to this, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But what I really want to talk to you all about today is how to find the money for spiritual work. So this is all about finding money to fuel your investment into your own spiritual guidance, your own spiritual journey. So I want to back up a second because I really want to talk about priorities here and kind of talk about that quintessential energy that I want to discuss. So there are 3 major things I'm going to talk about today. But before we get there, I really want to discuss what the priorities are here right now. So when we feel into the pulse of what's happening, everybody is feeling, it's unavoidable, the pandemic that's going on, right? The unavoidable panic that you see, whether you're not feeling panic, there's somebody that is. There's fear that's running around. There's uncertainty. There's elements of, having no clue what's going to happen. This feeling of unknown, uncomfortability. So when we talk about that, what we're really getting at is the quintessential essence of what is super important, what is actually really important for you, and what are the priorities that are essential for you to feel whole, to feel full. And so when I'm talking about priorities here, I'm talking about 2 different things, 2 different choices between a fear-based priority and a love-based priority. And so when I'm talking about coming from fear, are you choosing subscriptions, things, buying, spending, splurge habits? Are you doing that out of fear, out of the external validation of filling yourself up? Or are you doing that because you want to, because it serves your highest good, because it's something that nourishes your soul? And so when we talk about priorities here, I really want to get down to what is essential. What is important for you? And when we're talking about finding money for spiritual work, it's really about coming down to what is really a priority for you. And are you operating from fear or are you operating from love? And so those things actually tie into money because they operate down into our second chakra, which is really tied to self-expression. It's also tied into first as well, around like safety and security and stability and wanting to kind of hold on to certain things because we want to feel like we have some sense of knowing and some sense of control. And so when we're talking about finding money for spiritual work, things that you want to invest in yourself to grow in your spiritual journey, the number one key that I like to tell my clients is go into your bank account, scroll through all the things that you've purchased for the past month, maybe 2 or 3, and look at your spending habits. Look at what is considered a priority for you and what is not. And then you can easily see that, okay, this membership, don't even use it. I should have a gym membership, but I don't use that, right? Like those types of thoughts around things that I fear that I should have to feel safe, but that aren't actually necessary or actually priorities of what you actually need. So go into your bank account, scroll through the past month to 3 months worth of accounts of charges and like see exactly what is a priority for you. And you'll start to notice like, wow, I spent a lot of money on the crap that I don't even use. I had a subscription that I haven't used in 2 years. So there you go in there and cancel that subscription for things that don't actually matter to you. And then you start to see like, wow, how much space did I actually create for myself to fund the things that actually would help me on the journey to go into this love-based grounded space instead of operating from this fear-based lack. And so that's number 1. That's super key, is like understanding your priorities, understanding where you're operating from. Is it from fear or is it from love? And go into your bank account and see like, hey, where are my transactions going? Where am I actually leaking money, leaking energy that I don't really need to be doing that? So create that space, number 1. Number 2 is I want to really talk about non-negotiables here. So When we talk about energy, money is really tied to that. Money is tied to this value, this worth of who we are, but it's not a number value. It's actually a resonance, a frequency of what we believe is possible. And so when we talk about, and I talk about this with my clients a lot, is poverty consciousness mindset versus abundance consciousness. There's a very different energy here, again, with the fear and the love. Poverty is coming from lack, limitation, scarcity. There's only so much toilet paper to go around. That's bullshit. We have more than enough toilet paper for everybody. But there's this fear of, oh my God, what will happen when? And so that's coming from that fear-based mentality, right? From poverty. So when you go into this space of what really matters for you, this non-negotiable space, you start to see that there are specific types of things that are essential for you to survive, essential for you to feel supported, like paying for your mortgage. That's essential, right? Paying for your home, buying groceries. That's essential. For me, seeing my one-on-one support person and paying for those sessions, that is essential for me. That's mental health therapy. That's mental health awareness. That's plant-based medicine ceremony. Those are super important parts of my healing, parts of my journey that I invest in. And so when you start to go back and you start to kind of journal a little bit about what is actually non-negotiable for me, food, sleep, water, what else? There are a few other things that are actually super non-negotiables that you may not be considering to be a non-negotiable. So for me, that's absolutely spiritual work, mental health therapy. They kind of go hand in hand for me. And then you start to realize that when you invest in those things, you don't invest only in your money, but also in your time and also in your energy. And when you start to see that they're all connected, you start to realize that you are actually leaking time, leaking energy, leaking money in certain places that don't actually feel good, don't actually serve you well. So sometimes what I hear from clients is that like they spend time with people that don't actually listen to them. Or they're the negative Nancys, right? Or they're the complainers and the grumblers that just feel like they drain their energy. But yet you're on the phone with them for 2 hours a day. So it's really about creating this non-negotiable time to choose those who are really there to support you and find the types of support that really matter to you. And so the other part with non-negotiables is they're part of your budget. So my plant medicine ceremonies that I attend, my support mental health therapy sessions, I do breath work, I do plant medicine, cannabis assisted sessions, I do a few other things, different types of things. They're part of my non-negotiables in my budget. Same thing with my condo association dues. Our house is paid off, but like we have other payments, right? Like rent, paying the electricity bill, paying for trash, right? Like those types of things are non-negotiables. When you start to realize that you investing in those supportive partners for your healing process are non-negotiables, you start to realize that like, oh, these are part of my budget and I need to include them as such. And I do want to put this in there. We were never taught to do that. It's interesting because we had to learn to try to put ourselves first. I had to learn to put myself first, to invest in those things for myself. And because if we knew that, we wouldn't have been in that place to begin with, right? We would have already done the things from a healthy point of view as children and growing older. But we didn't. We learned, we grew up as caretakers, we grew up as people pleasers to, take care of everybody else and put ourselves last. So it's really important to understand that certain types of things for your spiritual journey are non-negotiable and to include them into your budget. And once you do that, you start releasing things that you start leaking money. It's like, so you start releasing things that purge money. For example, like, what did I write there? Splurge spending. That's a big one. Or eating out all the time. Like that's a huge one. So when you start realizing that, okay, this amount of money is dedicated to me investing in myself and my own spiritual journey, you create that first. And then the other stuff that doesn't actually matter as important to you, like splurge spending, shopping online, Instagram at 3 a.m., which is a thing that I can do sometimes. Those things fall by the wayside because you realize like, hey, this payment to me is really, really important. I want to be able to attend this session, right? I want to be able to attend this type of group. I want to attend this type of retreat. And those things are super, super powerful and super important. So number 2, non-negotiable. Last one, number 3, is I really want to have a quick little come to Jesus moment for everybody. The biggest question here when it comes to how to find the money is, are you really ready to shift? Because what I've found is that for those of you that are really, really ready to be vulnerable with yourself, to have that come to Jesus moment of like, okay, I know something has to give and I'm ready for the spiritual journey, you have to make that choice. You have to say, yes, I am. And the craziest thing is once you do, you start to realize what's really important. Again, the priorities and the non-negotiables. Once you decide like, no, this spiritual journey matters and I'm not taking no for an answer and I'm going to figure out a way, you do. You maybe don't buy that TV yet. You buy it maybe in 2 years, right? So maybe you just put off on buying a brand new laptop. The one that you have works, you just give it a little bit of an upgrade. So if you're talking about attending this, new investment opportunity for a retreat or a coaching program, or some people I know that they invest in fitness coaches because that's super important to them, right? It's the same thing with spiritual work. It's the same thing with having that ongoing support. You need to find somebody that resonates with you, but you also need to be really, really ready with yourself, getting really real with yourself. Are you ready? And once you do that, you stop deprioritizing your energy and you put that first. And then you realize that TV, that new fancy jacket, like they're not as important as me feeling my fullest best self every single day and needing that support on this journey. So 3 things is go to your bank account, pull out all the stuff that's not a priority, that doesn't matter to you, that is not serving you, that you're not using. Subscriptions, memberships, stuff that you're like, why do I pay for this? Don't do that. You're leaking energy, you're leaking money. Another thing is make it a thing in your budget. Allow yourself to put that type of money every month into yourself, into your healing, into what you need to be your best and true self. And the third thing is ask yourself if you're really, really ready for this shift. And if the answer is yes, chances are you will feel that breath, that sweet relief, and find the way to make that happen. And so I hope that all makes sense to you. They're kind of these big kind of mindset shifts around like, what is really possible? Can I really deserve that? Can I really invest that into myself? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can, but you have to believe that you are worth it. And so what I want to offer for all of you is something that you don't even have to dig into your bank account for. I have a free energy clearing coming up on Monday, March 30th. That's this Monday, 6 days away. It's going to be 12 p.m. Alaska Standard Time. I will put the link below for you to grab your spot. And again, it's free. So it's the first step for you to take to clear this like unworthiness, feeling less than, feeling too much, feeling not enough, clearing all that bullshit that's holding you back from your highest potential, and coming back into your center and who you really are. And it's going to be powerful. The last one I did last month was just amazing. We had an amazing results from all the women that showed up. And it's going to max out. So like the number is growing. So if you want to grab your spot, make sure you go ahead and click that link and that you show up on time to be able to see me live on the webinar, okay? So you'll see my face. I'll be right there with you. And I'm so excited to support you. I'll talk to you all soon.